Hey Scorpio, this is Michael with your April 2022 reading. I do hope that this video finds you well, and I'm so sorry that it's coming out late. I have actually been sick. I know I've been posting that on social media, but I realize that not everyone sees those posts, and in fact, most people don't. That's just kind of the way the algorithm works. So I haven't been shunting you. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm actually still a little under the weather, so I might sound kind of funny, so apologies there. All of my links are in the description box down below if you're looking for a reading or a Reiki session. I also have links for Patreon. We actually had our first members-only live stream a couple of weeks ago at this point, but it was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed interacting with all of you, and maybe that's something that interests some of you as well. So if you want to join, the link for that is down below as well. Anyway, Scorpio, I already have your cards here on the table. Just realized they're not quite in view. And the energy this month is really interesting. April has a lot going on. We have an eclipse at the end of the month. We start eclipse season. We also have 2 new moons. We have a lot that's happening in Pisces. We have a Neptune-Jupiter conjunction, and that's actually very, very rare. And really, even just right out the gate, we had a conjunction between Mars and Saturn. And this was actually yesterday, on April 4th. And it might feel like things are very stop and go this month in April. You've been very intuitive with the High Priestess here, or really tapping into your intuition. And this makes a lot of sense as a fellow water sign, how you're really connecting to this energy with Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces. You really have been seeing things in a higher perspective. And spirituality has been really important to you. Psychology has been really important to you. And really just being between, that's an energy I'm getting here. And there's been this spark that has come to you, this insight, this intuition, something that inspires you, that gives you passion. And even with the new moon that we just had in Aries on the 1st, it feels like there is this focus on ritual and health and wellness for you. And I apologize if you can hear noises outside. But it's like there is an engine that is getting started for you. Something is revving you up here with this Ace of Wands. Or at least there was. Because I see the 3 of Swords in the present for you here. I almost feel like you've been hiding from the world, actually, with the Hermit as well. Kind of looking at these 2 cards, it almost feels like, Scorpio, some of you have been withdrawing. And it's almost like you've backed yourself into a corner, like, oh, I just need more space. I need to give myself more space. I need to defend myself. I need to protect myself. And it's like you've kind of just done this so much and withdrawn so much that it's almost like there's no place to go. And that's something I'm kind of feeling for you. And some of you may be diving into some truths, untangling some things this month, especially around the 10th when Mercury in Aries is forming a square with Pluto. And Pluto is one of your co-rulers. The other ruler is Mars. And it feels like there's a lot with Mars and Saturn here as well. with this Three of Swords. And this is specifically ruling over the part of your chart that pertains to family and home and upbringing. So there could be something there that is painful to you. And if it's something with home, it's almost like you can't withdraw into your shell. You're losing your shell. And that's the thing that actually challenges you. Very often when I see the Hermit, it's like, sorry the lighting is like in and out. God. Maybe it feels like you're oscillating between light and dark. That is sort of just the energy of this month, to be honest. But with this Hermit energy, very often I read it as like needing to take time for yourself, needing to take space for yourself, needing to reconnect with this inner light. But it's almost like you've been doing that, Scorpio, and you can't do it anymore. And it's actually... I actually see a lot of beautiful things in the world for you with the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Cups, or this Daughter of Cups. And with Mars entering Pisces around the 14th, 2 days before the full moon in Libra, there really is a lot here that is inviting you to have fun and enjoy the world. Maybe there's even some new romance for some of you, or a new passion with the Ace of Wands. And maybe some of you have sensed this coming in, and now you're getting this message that you need to seize it, you need to reach for it. It's not just going to be handed to you. And oftentimes when I see the Page of Cups, it's like speaking from the heart. And this is such a Scorpio reading, because it feels like there is someone who's interested in you, or there are people who want to connect with you in some way. And there's just this guardedness here. You want to go into your shell. Could be involving Virgo energy, could be involving fixed sign energy. You are a fixed sign. That is Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. And we do also have a fixed Grand Cross this month as well. That's actually on the 11th. And it really is like the different areas of your life, stuff with family, stuff with identity, stuff with relationships, stuff with work. Feeling misunderstood by different people, especially family and partners, or maybe your family doesn't understand your relationships or your identity, or the people at work don't understand your identity or your relationships or your upbringing. Like, there's all these different pieces that are kind of hitting together. And this is very brief because it's only the moon in Leo that is being activated in this Grand Cross, so it's not very powerful. But it is hitting you in very sensitive ways. And your sign is actually implicated with the South Node being in Scorpio as well. So you really are feeling this energy. And maybe this is what this Three of Swords is representing. There is some pain. There is some jaggedness here. And let's actually pull some clarifiers. What do we do with this Three of Swords? Five of Swords. It's like a losing battle. Five of Swords is interesting because it's like needing to cut things, needing to sever things. And it's like, I wanted to tell you, like, oh, maybe you're taking some space, but it's like, you can't even do that with the Hermit necessarily. Yep, that Two of Swords, like, can't move forward, can't move backwards. Some of you need to make a decision. And that feels like it might be involving work with the Seven of Pentacles, actually. The Hierophant. Yeah, there's a lot about tradition this month. And I've been really reading like Hierophant energy lately, and like kind of fourth house energy as tradition. and like expectations that you place on yourself based off of what was modeled to you in childhood. I feel like some of you are really struggling with expectations that you've internalized with what your life should look like. And that's where the pain comes in. But there are a lot of new opportunities. There's so many new things. There's so many big blessings coming to you with the Wheel of Fortune. And it does kind of feel like it could be a new relationship with the Page of Cups, or doing something creative. What are these new blessings? Finally leaving something in the past, leaving the past behind you, the Eight of Cups. Moving towards your own happiness too, actually. It's like some of you have been really trying to hold on to something that's actually not working for you. Like when I look at this specific Eight of Cups in particular, it's like these 8 wine glasses, they're shattered. They're broken. And I feel like some of you are just opening yourselves up. And, you know, not for nothing, Scorpio, we do have an eclipse in your sign in May. And we end off this month with an eclipse in Taurus. There could really be a life-changing relationship, actually, for some of you. And it might even be a bit of a whirlwind. And that's kind of the thing where it's like, don't hide from this. Don't lose your wits about you by any means. But it's almost like you kind of need to do something that feels a little bit crazy to you because you've been so guarded. And it's almost like kind of a relative thing. It's like throwing yourself into the world, and it's kind of scary because it's like you've lived in this valley for so long with the Eight of Cups that it's hard to imagine or to remember what lies beyond this mountain. You know, it's hard to see what lies beyond here. But there's a lot of happiness. The thing you want is past this mountain. And it involves leaving things that once felt very familiar or even like home for you. And it involves tradition. It might involve marriage for some of you. It might be a divorce. Maybe some of you are in the process of a divorce. But I'm really getting this thing about tradition and traditional relationships, traditional jobs, traditional ways that you're supposed to be. You're leaving behind a lot of traditions. And it's almost like a perspective shift more than anything. But there could be something symbolic that you are doing to leave an old way of being behind. And with the eclipse in May in your sign, this is a full moon eclipse, which often is about letting things go. So even though we're in April and we're reading for April, these eclipses really do have windows of about 2 weeks. So right at the end, as we have this new moon eclipse, you're already feeling something shifting here and a new beginning is starting. And I think you're going to feel like you need to shed some things. I really recommend reading the Year Ahead horoscope because we're almost halfway through the year at this point. That is on my website and my blog. Because there really was this thing about leaving an old self behind, shedding a skin. And I remember calling you kind of the hermit crab. You need to let go of an old way of being, something that once was very protective to you. And that's when you're happiest. You know, Brene Brown, a psychologist, she might be a social worker. I actually don't know what her qualifications are specifically, but she speaks on mental health. She speaks on happiness, and the power of vulnerability is the title of her book. And what she found, what psychological research has found, is that the happiest people are the ones who risk vulnerability. And you've actually hurt yourself in certain ways because you were afraid of getting hurt. And with Pluto, again, a co-ruler planet for you going retrograde at the end of the month, there really is a lot of focus, specifically in your mind. Excuse me. Ironically, this is also the way you express yourself with Pluto and Capricorn. Whew, okay. So there may be this blockage in your throat chakra. I apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's pull some animal cards for you here. The spider weaving something, weaving a web. You've been manifesting something and waiting for it to come to you. And it actually feels like it does. And it's funny because it's like, it's on your web. I see you as the sort of spider here. And you're like, ooh, do I go up to that? It's like the thing you've been hoping for, the thing you've been manifesting, it's here. And you're still wondering, like, is this it? Is this the thing? It's like right there. And the firefly, this spark, this reminds me of this Ace of Wands from the beginning of the reading. Follow your inspiration, follow your passion. Whether this is relationship or creativity, also pay attention to your dreams as well. Because firefly is like this moment, this spark, this illumination that comes with us and then leaves very suddenly. And it's needing to follow that elusive kind of light or spark and acting on it. And it's like you already kind of know what it is you need to do, Scorpio. Like you are an intuitive sign. You're very intuitive. And you had the High Priestess, you had the Ace of Wands. Like you know what it is that you need to do. You've had this insight already. And it's like you've kind of been waiting for the right moment with the Two of Swords. There's an eclipse in this card. And it's like, it's here. It is the right moment. The moment is now. But you've been waiting for so long, you kind of second guess yourself. And it's like, it's honestly a little frustrating as an energy because it's like, it's right here. It's literally right here. Why aren't you taking it? What else do you need? Like, it's like you want something to be handed to you. And it's almost like someone is trying to hand something to you. Or the universe is trying to hand something to you, whether that's an idea, a relationship. And you're still like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to wait for this to come to me. And it's like right there. Like, it's almost like you want someone to pick up your hand and put it in your hand. What else do we have here? The fish, going with the flow, Pisces energy. And there's a lot of interesting things happening in Pisces. We have the conjunction with Neptune and Jupiter on the 12th, which is very intuitive for you. You might be learning about astrology or divination. You might be naturally very psychic and receiving kind of higher esoteric wisdom in some way, or learning about these concepts or principles. There actually could be some travel for some of you with the fish and the Wheel of Fortune as well. And maybe that's the opportunity. It's like, hey, this thing that you wanted is here. You just need to take it. You need to accept it. And then Venus and Jupiter are forming a conjunction on the 22nd. Or I'm sorry, the 27th in Pisces. And this feels like a really interesting parallel to kind of the start of the month that had this sort of like collision with Mars and Saturn that was in the sign of Aquarius. Really interesting because Saturn rules over Aquarius, or is one of the co-rulers. And these two planets are known as the malefics. Malefics. They bring challenges. It's tough love. And then Venus and Jupiter are the benefics, traditionally in astrology. And they are coming together in Pisces, and Jupiter is one of the co-rulers of Pisces. And so that's kind of this light and dark. There's a lot of balance here. And when I even think of Pisces, I kind of do think of the balance between the light and the dark. It's like the darkness before dawn, quite literally. So that's very, very interesting to me. Don't be afraid to flow. And some of you are honestly being a little too passive. I'm going to be blunt. You need to kind of seize something with this Ace of Wands being your advice this month. You need to take action. You need to take the inspired action with Firefly. And I think that is everything. I do hope this reading was helpful for you, Scorpio. Sorry if it was a little heavy-handed or tough love, but there's so many beautiful things here for you. There's so many beautiful things that are just around the corner. You just have to, like, reach for it. So I hope you reach for these things. I will see you all in the next video. All of my links are in the description box down below, and you can watch the other videos, maybe your moon, rising, or Venus sign to get even more clarity. And I will see you next time. Take care.